morning, Jupiter. Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Talk with Dawn once again. And I'm so excited to have Meryl all the way from Pennsylvania on my show this morning. And as many of you know, I'm always putting stuff up about small business. I'm always putting up stuff about health, wellness, things like that. And one area I have yet to touch on is the area of recovery. And yet, stay with us as we watch this reel.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dawn. First, I want to thank you for having me on your first Zoom platform and congratulate you on the success of your show. And thank you for helping so many people.
Oh, thank you. You're going to get me crying. That's the first time anybody said that.
So you are right to call it a deck. It is
Okay.
called the Recovery Deck. So the cards were created out of, at first, my own personal needs. So I'll take you back a little bit from 10, 20 or so years ago. When I was a teenager, I was having a lot of trouble at home and lots of problems out in society. I didn't go to school. I was a rebel. Whatever the authorities said to do, I didn't want to. I just wanted to do my own thing and be
The rebel
free.
without a cause.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to do my own thing, and truthfully, I went down a very dark and dismal, bad path, and that continued for a few years. And then finally, at some point, I realized, hey, I need to get clean and sober. I can't live like this. This is not a way to live, especially for a young girl at the time. So I got some help and got myself through going to a treatment center, and then my early 20s, and was very involved in this 12-step program. And it helped me immensely, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So years of getting married, having 4 children, and probably mothering a couple extra. I mean, usually there are at least 8 children in our house at a time. Dawn can attest to that from some years ago from when she lived in Pennsylvania. That shame, feeling terrible about myself. I don't want anyone to feel that way, especially around my present. You know, work, maintain my household, be married, help other people, do all sorts of things. But I kept getting that feeling there was more that I needed to do. And I knew it had to do with women and children that might be struggling. So one of the first things I did at one of the jobs that I had, I was just a monitor for adolescents. And it was supposed to be a treatment center for these adolescents, but basically they were sort of housed or jailed there. And they had rec time, and they had nothing to do at rec time. If it wasn't nice out and they couldn't go on the basketball court, there was nothing to do. So they started to take yoga and learn about yoga, and Reiki energy came not so far behind that. But as I was learning about yoga and the principles of yoga and what yoga does for your body, mind, and spirit, I asked if I could just do classes with the children, and they said, sure. So that was really the start of kind of like the seed being planted. And over the year, like my mission is to share like these gifts that I got that 100%. I would not have got them if I wasn't clean and sober. I would not have got them if I wasn't invested in a 12-step program. So through the years, I developed my own kind of special yoga, my own recovery yoga, where I would do regular classes at gyms or studios, things like that, out in a park, a couple times in abandoned buildings.
Wherever you can find the space.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And little by little, I started adding some Reiki energy to those classes and focusing a lot on meditation and mindfulness. So that's kind of how I floated my way through, then landing towards the end into other treatment centers for adults.
Okay.
And
What was it that drew you in? Was it someone that said, "Hey, try a yoga class"? Because she's struggling with just even how she can channel where to go.
sure, sure. Absolutely. So when I first started going to classes, I met these two wonderful older yogi women. Like
Okay.
I actually thought they were in their 50s and 60s, and they were in their 70s and 80s.
Oh, wow.
And
That's awesome.
truthfully, I said, "Whoa, that's pretty attractive." But I love that they lived yoga.
Right.
They ate yoga, breathed yoga. It
Yeah.
it it was
It was their
their,
lifestyle.
yes, it was actually recommended to me. And I can say that my training and trying to do yoga as a business, I don't want to say it failed for a number of years, but it didn't take off and
Right, right.
sprout to where I wanted it to be. And truthfully, it got to me sometimes.
Sure.
I wanted to quit. I thought that what I was trying to do, make it affordable, show up at these places that maybe other yogis won't go. Well, I felt like I was failing miserably, seriously, for like 10 years. And I went through waves where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, because I wasn't doing it so much to make money, even though, hey, I did want to make some money, but
Sure.
it was mostly to get out what I was doing. Right,
It's reaching
right.
the people. Yeah.
Yes, and I had a few dedicated followers, so to speak, and I had a couple classes, and that's pretty much what I did for 10, 12 years. And I thought, I'm going to get back to enjoying this for me. And that's what I did. And then what happens is when you do the work and then you step back and you know this is all I can do, it seemed like a divine intervention happened and just picked me up and took me where I needed to go. But that did not happen quickly. And I think that's one of the most difficult things about creating a business or trying to do something that's your vision or passion. Just hanging in there, getting past the hard parts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what happened for a number of years. I went to a friend who himself was very good at promoting himself and business wise. And this is the cool thing, like what you're doing. He sat with me a couple times. We went and had lunch. Even things started to take off and were really well for the past couple years.
Right.
And
it's just about knowing what your limitations are and not being afraid to say, you know what, maybe I can use what you've done, or maybe I can use your tools. And, saying, look, I'm going to sit with you and show you how you can take it to the next level, because you've never been in that world. So you might not have been
right,
exposed to people that knew what that was about,
right,
So
right.
that's
And
awesome.
the trick that I found is just keep moving forward.
That's it.
Don't get in your own way. I mean, I found out that I was the one that kept getting in my own way
Sure.
in all kinds of ways I didn't even recognize.
Right.
So,
And it's about being able to diversify. I had worked with one woman who, she's reaching out to me because her business isn't doing well. But then when I would make the suggestions of how she can incorporate her current business, but yet let's add to it, she just was so stuck on, but that's not what I want to do. And I got to the point where I finally said, has this been working for you? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You've been doing it this way for 5 years. You're reaching out to me because you're not getting anywhere. You have to trust the process. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. A lot of times people are like, no, this is my platform. I'm not changing it. And once you get them past that ego part of the identity they feel they've created for themselves, and show them, look, we're not changing it. We're just going to help you expand on it.
Right. An idea to create like a deck of cards for people in any form of recovery, any type of addiction, or maybe you're the spouse or partner of an addict or an alcoholic or a bulimic. So I really got that vision through just keep getting like messages. So I pray, I meditate,
Mhm.
I pull cards from other people's decks. I work very hard on my spirituality and in my intuition. And I went into this meditation. I was actually away with my daughters, and I have to say my daughters are 100% behind me. My
Oh my God,
husband.
it's ridiculous. Your family is ridiculously gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Laid down and I sort of fell asleep, but I actually got the vision of what these cards were supposed to be. And as soon as
Wow.
I got up, I went into my phone. I wrote in my notes exactly what I wanted these cards to be.
Right. Isn't that
So,
amazing? You're giving me chills.
and so the best part is, well, so a month and a half later is when COVID hit and we
Oh,
were in lockdown.
yeah.
And so I completely stopped working. You
Right.
know, I'm at home. Two of my daughters actually came to stay with us, so I wasn't completely alone. I did like it was my job,
Right. Right.
9 to 5, almost every day. I got a local artist, a mom, single mom of three, an artist who I knew from 12-step program. I signed her on board. My sister helped with editing, and we just went to work, and it was a crazy ride. And there were many times I was so joyful and happy. I just thought I would bust, and other times I just wanted to cry and throw everything and say, this isn't going to work. But
Yeah.
I just kept persevering,
Right.
and then got a couple professionals involved, a local printer, a local graphic designer, and back to why triangles are important. So the head of the stick figure was a triangle, and the triangle was like non-gender, which I loved. So the
Right.
triangle stick person was the one doing the yoga poses. And truthfully, some of them just looked hilarious. And some just looked just funky and not good. So when she suggested a few things, I chose a silhouette of men and women of different shapes. So you cannot tell the gender or the race of
Okay.
some of the poses on the back of the cards.
So it's very UN friendly.
I'll get into the cards real quick that I kept working on them and got them finished, got a booklet printed that explains everything you can do with the deck of cards, and went to the printer. And I used all local people,
Right.
totally did it, not totally by myself, but had the help of others.
Right.
And when the first deck was done and premiered, I I I went to my car after the printer gave it to me and I just cried
Oh
because
God.
I
Yeah.
just couldn't believe, like,
Oh
here they are,
yes. Oh my gosh.
here they are. So
Yeah.
they went totally in print. I had 300 copies made. They've been out for about 3 months, and as of right now, I've sold 200.
Wow. Oh my God, that's
And
amazing. And you can find them on Etsy
yes,
and worldwide is my
yes.
point.
Etsy
So
is about homemade things, but
yes.
made well. So just to tell you about these cards, and I'll just pull one here because what I ended up doing and creating was exactly about me and what I do in a yoga class or in a Reiki session. And when I realized that this is really what I put together, it was kind of cool for me. And really, I felt so humbled and grateful
Oh
that
gosh, yes.
I was given the divine inspiration.
Okay. Yes,
Okay,
beautiful.
so there is a positive word and then a definition at the bottom.
Okay. Now, is that an
Meditation.
affirmation or are you just telling someone what meditation means?
So yes, this is the definition of meditation: the quieting of the body, mind, and spirit to turn inward and focus on breath. So the front of the cards have colors, and the colors are associated with each of our chakras, which are
Yes, I
energy
was wondering about that when
centers.
I looked at the cards. I'm like, yellow, red. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that is why there are 7 different colors in the deck. And
Okay.
your chakras are energy centers in your body. When your chakras are not balanced, you're a mess. When your
Right.
chakras are blocked, you're a mess.
Right.
So this is the front of the card. All the cards have this triangle, which I was just so attracted to. And then I found out that triangles mean strength, and that
Oh, and see,
triangles are
you had there was a calling to it. Yeah.
totally, and that the triangle's 3 sides are actually all the same dimension. So I just
Yeah.
thought that was like insanely cool. So we're
Yes.
going to flip
Insane.
to the back, and
Oh,
it
love
has a
that.
yoga pose. So
Okay.
this is lotus pose, and the purple is associated with our third eye chakra, which
Hmm.
is here. And it shows you the yoga pose. And in the booklet, it tells you how to use not only the deck 4 different ways, but how to do each yoga pose in depth.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're also providing them an instructional manual. You're not
Yes,
just giving them
yes,
like a deck of cards, like playing
right,
cards that come out of a box. So this is like a
right,
gift set type of thing.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And so at the bottom is a meditation.
Okay.
And I'll read this one quickly in a moment, but the cool thing is you could literally just pull the front of a card. Hey, I have 5 minutes to sit and be still today. Pull a card, read this, close your eyes. Or maybe I want to do a little bit of yoga. Maybe I just want to do 5 poses,
Right.
pull 5 cards.
Right.
Maybe I want to line my chakras up. Maybe all of them are blocked, so I need 7, one of each color.
Right.
Maybe I really want to get into my third eye and I pull 1, 2, or 3 of the
Exactly.
purple cards.
And what's nice is you're
Maybe,
creating almost a discipline for someone,
yes,
because it's kind of like, people love to have, coaches that are in the gyms and actually working out each movement with them. You're doing that by way of the cards. So people aren't left to figure out
right,
what was that move again? How did I do that?
right,
Yeah,
right.
that's awesome.
Totally, totally. So say you would want to meditate. Um, on the back, the meditation says, meditation is medicine. It is a quality of being that you bring to the act. The mind fades, hollowness arises. It is not empty. You are slowly being filled with joy, peace, and blissfulness. With this awareness, embrace the dark. It is merely only the absence of light.
Like it's something that even the family could get involved in. You know what I mean?
Yes,
People want to sit around and they want to play cards and they want to talk. Well, how cool would it be if, instead of having like game night, we had recovery night and we just all sat in a circle. And I
I
think it would
love
invite
it.
people to almost share what their weekly issues were. And then you
Yes,
can maybe put the deck in the center of the circle, pick a deck, and then say, okay, this is the pose. Let's all try to do it. And I say that because I remember taking my dad to Silver's yoga class because he thought you get nothing out of yoga because he was a boxer. And
right.
I'll never forget when Silver had said, let's try to put you in this pose. He couldn't do it. But what happened was, instead of him getting mad and like walking out of the class, it forced him to want to try to do it.
Yeah,
You got to just
I
try
love
it.
it. And if you look on any of our social media pages on Instagram or Facebook, the Recovery Deck, you
Mm-hmm.
will see lots of pictures of people and kids and grandkids doing the yoga poses together and just having fun.
And it was your mission, to make sure that other young women had an opportunity that maybe you didn't have at the time because of
Right,
whatever your surroundings were. So to
right,
see that mother who's taking that 5-year-old, that's exactly what we want because we're imprinting while they're young. Maybe they feel a little bit embarrassed to sit in on a yoga class where they're
right,
talking in tongues and they're talking in Sanskrit and they're like,
right,
okay,
right.
I don't know what this world is, but it's not my world, right? And I
Yes.
can say that firsthand.
Cards are in Ireland, England, Mexico City, and Hong Kong.
Oh,
So we are international, and I just feel so blessed. That's really what it comes back to. Helping people, helping women. That really is what this is all about, for that whole health, total package of wellness.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Okay, so we've only got a couple of minutes left, actually. So with that, I do want to mention the platforms that you have so people don't get confused, because I have some people that have YouTube, some people that, so the platforms that they can find you on, what are they going to be looking at on Facebook? And of course, we're going to have all of the links, but in case you want to write this down and share it with a friend, you've got an Instagram and a Facebook, but are they looking for Meryl, or are they looking for recovery, or?
The recovery deck.
Okay,
The
so the
recovery
deck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the recovery deck on both, and also that's what it's called on Etsy to purchase. Yes.
Well, I thank you so much, Meryl, for spending this morning with me, and I'm so excited. I understand that I myself will be getting one of these decks, so I'm so looking forward to getting it. For the first 7 people that actually reach out to Meryl, but don't reach out to Meryl directly, just hop onto the Etsy. And when they go onto the Etsy, they can get that link in your Facebook. And make sure and reach out to Meryl, DM her to let her know that you purchased it, so she can go ahead and reimburse you of all the shipping and the costs and things like that. So
absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I thank you so much again, Meryl, for doing this. Now, I can't let, I want you to stay warm. I want you to give Steve a big hug for me. All the girls, I send all my love.
Oh, thank you.
And your as well. And just keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud to have spent the time with you. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next week. We're going to, besito. Oh, my light. Okay.